Welcome to the second video in the statistics playlist, and in this one we're going to try a couple of problems from the SAT on the mean. And as always, I encourage you to pause the video first and try each of these out on your own. So let's just read the first one. If x is the average or arithmetic mean of m and 9, y is the average of 2m and 15, and z is the average of 3m and 18, what is the average of x, y, and z in terms of m? So let's just remind ourselves of what the mean was. So as we learned in the last video, the mean of any number data set is equal to the sum of the numbers divided by the number of numbers that you have. So I'm going to use this to find out each of these numbers. So x here is the mean of m and 9. So x is going to be equal to m plus a 9, because I have to add the numbers, and then divided by a 2, because there are two numbers. Similarly, y is going to be a 2m plus a 15 divided by, once again, a 2, because there are two numbers. The same for z. Z is going to be equal to 3m plus 18 divided by a 2. And now they're asking us for the average of x, y, and z. So I have x, y, and z here, so I'm going to use the same formula to find the mean of these three numbers. So the mean of x, y, and z would simply be x plus y plus z divided by a 3, because there are three numbers, x, y, and z. And so when I write that down, it's going to be m plus 9 over 2 plus a 2m plus 15 over 2 plus a 3m plus 18 over 2. And all of that divided by a 3. So one thing to note here is that the numerator, in this one, the numerators and the denominators all are the same. There are two. So I can essentially add up all of these numbers, these three numbers, m plus 9, 2m plus 15, and 3m plus 18. So when I do that, the m terms are going to add up with the m terms. So it's going to be m plus a 2m plus a 3m, which is going to be a 6m plus a 9 plus a 15, that's going to be 25, right? Sorry, it's going to be a 24, plus an 18 is going to be a 42, divided by a 2, because that's the common denominator, and all of that divided by a 3. And if you know your fractions right, you know that this would just be equal to a 6m plus 42 divided by a 6, because I'm first dividing this number 6m plus 42 by a 2, and then I'm dividing it by a 3, which is the same as dividing it by a 6. So I can simplify this by dividing each of these terms by a 6. So 6m divided by a 6 will be an m, plus a 42 divided by a 6 would be a 7. So my answer would be B, an m plus 7. For the second one, let me scroll down. So they say that if the mean of the five numbers above is 1600, what is the value of x? So we have five numbers here. Let's use the same idea to find the mean of these five numbers. So let me change my color. So I'm going to add up all the numbers. 700 plus a 1200 plus a 1600 plus a 2000 plus an x, and all of that divided by how many numbers do I have? I have five numbers. So all of that divided by 5 is equal to the mean, and the mean is 1600 as they've told us. So now I have a simple equation in one variable, and I just need to solve for x. So let's just quickly add up these numbers. So it's going to be a 700 plus a 1200 will be a 1900, and then plus a 1600 would be a 3500, and plus a 2000 would make all of this a 5500. And all of this plus an x divided by 5 is equal to 1600. And now I can just multiply 5 to both sides of this equation to get rid of this 5 in the denominator, and I'm going to get 5500 times x equals to plus x, I'm so sorry, 5500 plus x is equals to 8000. And now I'm just going to subtract the 5500 from both sides to get x equals to 8000 minus the 5500, and that's going to be a 2500. So that's my value for x. And now for the final question. This is actually quite simple. This is based on common sense, and you should be able to figure it out. This is from May 2009 USQS. The mean of the list of the numbers above is what fraction of the sum of the 5 numbers? So this is really just a common sense question. We all know that the mean is equal to the sum of the numbers divided by the number of numbers that you have. So just to show you, I can actually find the sum of these numbers. So a 2 plus a 10 plus a 3 plus a 7 plus a 6, that's my sum, and I'm going to divide this by a 5 to get to my mean. So when I add them up, it will be, well, a 12, and then a 12 plus a 3 would be a 15 plus a 7 would be 22, and plus an 8 would be a 28. So the mean here would be 28 divided by 5, and the sum is just a 28. So if you think about it, what fraction of the sum of the 5 numbers, this number, is this number? So it's pretty clear. This number is 1/5 of this number. So it's a 1/5. So the answer is going to be a 1/5. And I didn't even need to write this down. It's simple sense that when you have, in any case, if you had 6 numbers, then you would simply divide the sum by 6 to get to the mean. So the mean would be 1/6 of the sum in that case. So this is how it had to be done, and I hope to see you in the next video.